Hey there, fellow watchers. It's Whitey again, and it's Born to Watch time. The 1980s was an incredible decade of action movies, many of which still stand the test of time. Nico Above the Law, however, may not have aged as well as some of its 80s action brethren. And tonight, we're going to give it the Born to Watch Aikido flip and find out. Born to Watch. 1988 was a very fond year. I started high school at the revered Cromer High School for the criminally gifted. Gow introduced me to a goofy-looking fellow with a bigger-than-average nose and a terrible free throw shot. You guys know him as Dan on the Land, but everyone knew him back then as Morgs. The three of us became fond friends and discovered many 80s action movies together. Above the Law, at the time, we believed life couldn't get any better than this. Joining me to relive our youths and reminisce about better times, the G-Man.
Good evening. Great to be back. Geez, Morgs could throw a brick, couldn't he?
Mate,
Off the free throw line.
Well, it's air balls more often than not. He's sold to the fan base that he's extremely talented athletically. Let's just keep with that narrative.
Yeah. He was when he came back. He came back from Melbourne, remember the year before, and he was a basketball star.
Savant.
He was a savant.
Savant. Up there on the land, joining us after a couple of weeks off, Daniel, are you well, mate?
I'm well. I just realised I was the Ben Simmons of our basketball team. I had Superman skills everywhere except putting a thing in the fucking bucket. So it was definitely, I was all flash and little fucking payoff.
You're a bit like those guys that would take the diamonds route with the women. That you were very good everywhere, but getting it in the hole.
This is true. Shout out to Parky. Shout out to who else?
Whitey.
Whitey. Excellent. I'm well.
You've got to be able to call a spade. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Look, interesting movie. This one, Gow. I'm going to start with you.
Let me just stop you there. What the fuck was interesting about it?
No, well, this is interesting. It's very thought provoking. Thought provoking. Definitely got you thinking about what the fuck was going on. At least 3 minutes into the movie. But Gow, mate,
I was thinking about what was on my phone as I scrolled through.
But you're a big phone guy now.
Yeah,
you love your phone.
I reckon this was the longest it took me to actually get through an hour 40-minute film.
Yeah, I watched it in one hit.
Yeah, so did I.
But I did do a couple pauses to check how much time was left, and the first pause it said 57 minutes, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And then the next pause it said 13 minutes, and I was like, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there.
See, I tried to pause it on Plex to do that, and I couldn't get the timing of it, so I just had to sit through and hope that it was getting through it.
Mate, I got to say, Gow, I knew we were in for something special when Gow mentioned to me that he couldn't wait. He hadn't watched the movie yet, and he said, I can't wait to watch the pool ball fight. And I go, it's not even...
And I said, the only thing I remember, that was the good bit.
It's not even that movie, Gow.
It's not. That's Out for Justice.
Yeah, anyway, look,
Well, to be fair, they're pretty much the same movie.
All of them are the same. 1988 film, 36 years old, which is pretty frightening when you think that we actually, all the three of us, grew up watching this movie. It was actually, we went through a real Seagal phase.
Yeah, massive phase. I mean, he was big.
I think the world did. The world went through a Seagal phase. This one, I had really fond memories of this movie and actually was quite looking forward to this rewatch. I've set the overs and unders at 15, which I think, considering the early period of our lives, it's going to be interesting. We'll start with you up on the land, Dan. Over and under 15, tell us about your earliest memories of Nico Above the Law.
Yeah, this was a staple from Civic Video and DY for sure. Probably used your card, probably used your cash. But I have extremely fond memories of this film when we were 14. I reckon I may have watched it with the Cluets, my neighbours who were as
No doubt.
equally
No doubt.
into martial arts flicks that we were, and probably watched it with you guys, watched it with them, saw it heaps, over 15, haven't seen it in 20 years. Had a crack at watching it earlier this year just off my own bat because I thought fondly of it. Stopped, couldn't do it, and then was surprised when it turned up in your list of movies to do, and battled through it this week. So I actually, instead of watching it, I jumped onto YouTube and watched a documentary about the making of the film Lost in Translation in French with English subtitles instead of watching all of Schnicko Above the Law in a row. So that just goes to show it was a difficult task.
Just when you thought that movie couldn't get any worse, there's a French documentary.
It's very good.
It's a shit movie, Daniel.
The critic
It's
in
not
it
great,
reminds me a bit of me. He's very, very insightful.
Anyway, G-Man, same question, over and under 15?
Oh, when I watched it, I mean, obviously I thought at the start it was Out for Justice, and they are very similar. I remember watching this movie. I remember as a kid, but I reckon I'm Damo numbers. I reckon I'm 4 to 5.
Really?
I can't remember watching it that many times. Even to watching it last night, the ending was not familiar to me.
Yeah.
A lot of the movie was. I
Yeah.
remember that they had the refugees downstairs and all of that. The father I remember the blow up scene and all of that.
I'd forgotten about that. I'd forgotten about the immigrants under the church.
I knew that, but I didn't remember much of the ending.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, Dan. I'm over 15, and that's only because probably the years of 88 to 94.
Yeah,
I think it would have been one of those go-tos. We went through a real Seagal phase. I'm now considering revisiting the thought process that we need to start with the first movies of, I guess, I'm going to call Seagal movies a bit of a franchise.
A canon, if you will.
A canon, yeah. And because we should have probably done Under Siege in hindsight. I think that would have been a more fun movie. It would have had some boobs in it.
Or even Executive Decision when his screen time is about 47 seconds.
That's a highlight. Look, yeah, I'm over 15. This was a really tough, probably one of the hardest rewatches that I've done, and probably one of the more disappointing ones. I had it was just a different movie to what I remembered. A completely different movie to what I remembered.
And you can pick a lot apart in this movie too, in the
Wow.
plot and the acting. And it'll be interesting to see how it fares against other 1988 action movies that we've done.
Yeah, well, straight away, you go to Bloodsport, and when we get to the rank bank, I've got a bit to say.
Yep.
I've got a bit to say. G-Man, why don't you tell us about Above the Law?
All right, with the tagline, he was a covert agent trained in Vietnam. He has a 6th degree black belt in Aikido and family in the mafia. He's a cop with an attitude. Nico Toscani, is he cousin of Ferdy Dominelli? He sounds like his cousin owned a furniture shop.
Yeah, he did elaborate bedding.
Nico Toscani. All right, here we go. Nico Toscani, a former CIA agent, Aikido expert, and hard as nails Chicago police sergeant, has sniffed out the nefarious activities of crooked FBI operatives while investigating an international drug ring. However, when the suspects are allowed to walk away scot-free, Toscani finds himself with his back to the wall, putting his friends, colleagues, and family in harm's way. Now, a frenzied race against the clock to stop a psychotic drug lord and thwart a sinister political assassination plot begins. But no one is above the law. Who can stand in the way of justice and incorruptible Nico, Chicago's finest?
Okay. Couple things to unpack, but I think we need to watch the trailer to really get into the Nico feel. Well, that went for 84 seconds, that trailer. Maybe 76 too long.
We could have just watched that.
I don't know if anyone picked up, but Dan, I pointed out to Gow in the trailer when he punches the window in the car. It's a big fake hand. It's a big fake hand.
I don't think it's even a hand.
I
I
saw
think
it.
it's just a prop.
I saw it live when I was watching the movie, and I was pissing myself at the size of this big fake hand. So good.
Well, I
So
didn't realize it did clear up something for me. The mafia, while they were at his party or the christening or whatever was happening, because they were in his family. I didn't know that
It was
till
his-
just watching the trailer.
Well,
so-
it's his uncle. It's you find that out when they move his wife.
Yeah.
They go, you're gonna go up to your auntie. His uncle's gonna take you, and it's the guy with the moustache. Is his but yeah, there's not many christenings where you got the mob on one side of the party and the police on the other side of the party. I would have thought.
No.
And
But that seems to be the way that.
Do you get in the cops if your uncle is in the mob? I thought that would have been just a straight no.
Doesn't he do that in Out for Justice as well, though? Like, doesn't he have family on one side? I'm sure he does.
I don't know. Critical thinking. Gentlemen, what do you reckon this rates on IMDb?
Oh, I shudder to think.
Daniel, give me a guess.
I was looking up my sleeper, another movie that I looked fondly. I remember fondly from 1998, and I thought, oh yeah, that's great. 1988. Sorry, I'm going to talk about this one tonight. I won't reveal what it is until I talk sleeper. But it was 4.6 out of 10 on IMDb, and I remember it as if it was a great movie that I thoroughly loved. So, in that vein, I'm going to say this can't be much more than a 5.
This is 6 out of 10.
Wow.
It did get a lot of attention when it first came out. It was a big movie. He was a breakout superstar from this.
Absolutely. It would be very interesting. What I didn't do is I didn't go and have a look at some of the more, I guess, younger review pages like Letterboxd or something like that, which it's a much more younger demographic. This would be, it would be almost slandered, I would think, this film on something like that. But anyway, 6 out of 10. Rotten, 50% on the tomato meter with a 48% audience score. So the critics liked it more than the audience, which is interesting.
Is that one of the lowest scores we've had? I can't remember them being that low.
Yeah, well, generally we do reasonable movies.
Yeah.
And, 13-year-old Matt White thought this was a reasonable movie.
I loved it back then. I was right into it.
Yeah, I know. This is your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
This is why you're on the podcast.
That was right in my wheelhouse back then, I'll tell you.
Good review. Kathy Burke from the United Press International. Above the Law has enough offbeat updates on the cops and robbers theme to at least make the film visually interesting most of the time.
High praise.
Mostly.
High praise. High praise. Okay, a bad review. Hal Hinson of the Washington Post. Woefully short on originality, intelligibility, and anything resembling taste.
Oh, nice, Hal.
That's one of the best reviews we've had. And I tell you what, almost spot on. Almost spot on. G-Man, look, let's not fuck around. Ordinary people.
Well, look, we'll talk about Steven Seagal a little bit. He really is the only main character in this movie. He actually started his martial arts career at the age of 7 in Orange County, and then he received his first Dan accreditation in 1974.
Does that mean he's a dickhead?
Yes, he's
Righto,
got a Dan accreditation.
Okay.
He might get an on the land one soon.
No, mate, he's not good enough to get the on the land accreditation.
But yeah, he moved to Japan to further his martial arts, and anyway, I believe he married a Japanese lady, but he was studying Aikido over there, and he had I think the story was
Sorry, can I stop you there? What's his martial art called?
Aikido.
Because I sent Whitey a meme this week that came across that suggested he was well versed in the art of bullshito.
Oh yeah,
bullshito.
We'll get to that too.
Bullshito.
There's a lot of story. But anyway, yeah. Look, he then achieved the rank of 7th Dan. He said in Aikido, and he was actually instructing clients in Los Angeles when one of his clients was a guy named Michael Ovitz, who was in the Hollywood world at thought he could make a star out of him.
Phew.
Saw him and went, I can make a star out of this guy.
Mate, he
So-
saw his arms and said, "You're a star.
Oh, he said spaghetti arms.
Run for me, you're a star.
spaghetti arms.
Your
yeah.
hair, you're a star."
But yeah, so anyway, because obviously, as we said, this was when the high octane karate stuff was in full swing. So
100%.
so this is where it became. So Above the Law was massive when it came out. He was 36 when he made this movie. 36 then.
Okay.
So he was
Late
he was
starter.
late starter. Well, that's what I mean. He wasn't in this game. He got found.
Well, he was a seventh Dan
Yeah.
master of Aikido.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'll give him. He's got a lot of movies. The same movie with a different name.
Mate,
Right.
I've got to say though, like you're going to run through the first
Six.
5 or 6 are pretty good.
No, there's some good movies.
Yeah.
But even better are his names in the movies.
I'll go for it.
Right. So obviously he was in Hard to Kill in 1990. He was Mason Storm.
Yeah, that's the one where what's the good sort lady in red,
Kelly LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock, who he marries.
He married, had
It
kids.
was his wife.
Yeah.
Looks under the sheet at his wang when he's in a coma.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, Mason Storm. Then in Marked for Death in 1990 as well, he was Hatcher. 1991's Out for Justice. He was Gino Felino.
Gino Felino.
In 1992's Under Siege, he was, of course,
I forget what his name is.
Casey Ryback.
Casey Ryback. You're
Got
gonna
some-
check my bouillabaisse. Check my bouillabaisse.
in On Deadly Ground in 94, he was Forrest.
Forrest Taft.
Yeah. He's got some cracking names,
Oh
mate.
God, what is? Have you got it? What is an executive decision?
Yeah, he was Lieutenant Colonel Austin Travis.
Okay, so just stop for a sec. He's American, right?
Yeah.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Like he's not Italian. Descent,
He
is he?
has some heritage.
Just because your mum might have boned an Italian in the ghetto in 61, you're not Italian.
Yeah, he's actually been on record, more to your point, for there's actually a video out there which I'll send to you that talks about, there's so many different interviews where he says, "Oh, my background's Russian," and then the other one he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually Italian."
He's just so
But yeah,
full of shit.
Yeah, he's just full of
He's
bullshit.
so full of shit. Bullshito.
Yeah, but look, as we said, he trained a lot in judo, kendo, aikido, and yeah, I think. Did you know there's an Above the Law 2 coming out?
With,
Pre-production.
with him in it.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's in it.
Have you seen him lately? It should be
Yeah,
called
yeah,
Above
yeah.
the Burgers.
Yeah.
How's he going to do anything? I hope he runs. He could have a heart attack on set.
We got to get to his running. I don't want to leave that.
Now, you've mentioned a lot of the movies, but I actually think the quintessential highlight for Steven Seagal is his TV series, Seagal Lawman.
Yeah.
And it is absolute. It is so
I remember Whitey.
watchable. It is so
train wreck,
incredible.
car wreck-ish.
It is, mate. You cannot turn away.
He was Reserve Deputy Chief Steven Seagal.
In real life.
I remember
It's a documentary.
when you said to me, you've got to watch this. It's hilarious. And we put it on at your place at Amble Whitey Street.
Mate.
And we were crying. It's the one where he gets out of the car and runs and he's like trying to arrest the guy. He's like,
Mate, but in the first but it's so good in the first episode. He in the first 10 minutes, he chases down a guy, solves a crime, and then plays in his band at the bar, the dive bar for all these deputies.
he's so good.
He's the best. He is a caricature that doesn't quit.
Mate, he's the gift that keeps on giving.
Fuck.
Here's a couple of quotes that have been attributed to him over the years. Tell me which one's your favorite. I'm hoping that I can be known as a great writer and actor someday, rather than a sex symbol.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
The secret is not to act, but to be.
Oh, God.
Now, he did one about where he talked about all these movies. He says, all of these movies I've done, I've not been in control of. Sometimes there's a contractual situation where you go to a studio and they kind of tell you what you have to do. But be that as may, I've also been lucky in the sense of being able to make environmentally conscientious movies as well as politically conscientious movies. Above the Law was a politically conscientious movie. On Deadly Ground was environmentally
I was going to
conscious.
say on Deadly, he's from Navajo descent.
Yeah.
He's American Indian in On Deadly Ground. He's got the front of the cover. He's wearing like an American Indian jacket. It's unbelievable, mate. The guy's a legend.
Mate, there's actually, we say he makes every movie. There's actually a term in Hollywood called Seagalism. or Seagalism,
Right,
and it's actually the term in Hollywood for embracing typecasting.
mate. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He is incredible.
Anyway, we'll move on.
It just reminds me. I'm going to digress just quickly because I just saw a really, really funny clip of the TV series Extras. Now, we've all seen Extras. Ricky Gervais, Andy Millman, and he's going to audition for a part with Gandalf, Ian
I
McKellen,
saw that the other
right?
day.
And Ian McKellen's like going now, so what you got to do is you've got to act. He goes, now, when Peter Jackson came to me and said, I need you to play Gandalf, I am not a wizard. I just pretend to be a wizard. And mate, it is one of the greatest scenes of him taking the piss out of himself of all time.
He goes, you see, I'm walking along. So Ian McKellen, and action.
You shall not pass. Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen. It is, and that's what I really think that Seagal is, except the whole time, and then they go action, it's the same guy. They go cut, it's the same guy.
I think, at the start of this movie, they did the monologue about him, it's basically a monologue of his life,
Yes.
going to Japan, doing all that, and opening the dojo and everything. And I think that he's morphed this into his real life. Like it's the two of them. We talk about Tom Cruise, but this is his real life.
Well, the rumor was that he married over there so that he essentially married so he could open the dojo.
Well, he opened the dojo in the family name, I believe.
Yeah, because it's a bit like Bruce Lee, where you can't teach the Guilos, how to do this.
Yeah.
And so he, but anyway, funny.
Yes. All right. Look, Pam Grier as he's offside in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of movies. First role was in the Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. She's in 1970. She was in Foxy Brown in 74. Grease Lightning with Richard Pryor, 77. She was in Fort Apache, the Bronx. Was that
She was in a lot of blaxploitation films.
Yeah, but what's Fort Apache, the Bronx? Was that Charles Bronson?
I'm not sure if it is.
Anyway, Above the Law, she's in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Escape from LA. Obviously, Jackie Brown.
She's great in Jackie Brown.
Yeah. Most recently in Them, the TV series in 2022. But she's actually trained in martial arts as well. She's been in karate, aikido, kung fu.
She's in boob fu. She used to get her cans out a lot, Pam Grier, in all those blaxploitation.
In the 1970s, yeah.
She was big for that. Famously, she said that she this is her favorite movie because she got to act.
Yeah, she got to show her.
Yeah, she got to act. I'm still waiting for it to see
Yeah.
what she actually had to do. But anyway.
Look, we can go quickly here because there's not many other stars. Henry Silva, who played Varga.
Yeah.
He was in The Manchurian Candidate. He was in Code of Silence with Chuck Norris in 1985. And Above the Law. And Ghost Dog in 2022.
Ghost Dog. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
With Forrest Whitaker. It was the last movie before he passed away.
Okay.
We had Ron Dean. Now, Ron Dean has been in heaps of stuff. He's the cop with the white hair.
Yep.
The older cop.
Yep.
He's in Risky Business. He played a detective in that. He was in The Breakfast Club. He was Andy's father in the car park.
Okay. Yep.
He was in Code of Silence as well. Above the Law, he's in Cocktail. He was Uncle Pat in Cocktail.
Oh, yeah, into the bar.
Yeah. Drinks are on the
Yeah,
house.
the bar.
He was in The Fugitive. He played a cop in that as well. He was the coach in Rudy.
Yeah. Wow.
But apart from that, look, Sharon Stone in this, we know, early role for her in this. Doesn't play much of a role. Chelsea Ross, who we've come across before.
We love him. He's a dick again.
Yeah,
he's an absolute dick in all his movies, essentially.
Yeah. This movie is sort of better for the uncredited people that are in it.
Yes.
So we've got the first one who actually is credited, Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker, he's in the bar.
Because he has a line. He's the one that says the thing about pork.
Yeah.
Also, Mark Boone Jr., who we know from Sons of Anarchy. He was a man in the window, uncredited, and feature film debut for John C. Reilly.
So much room for activities.
And I
couldn't find him.
His Thug in the Bar.
I was looking for him.
I was looking for him.
him.
I stopped it, went back, couldn't find him.
Yeah, couldn't find him.
But anyway, yeah, that's the rest of the cast.
Yeah, okay. Well done, G. What about we'll do budget and box office, and then I really want to dive into whether this was nominated for any Academy Awards or won any Academy Awards.
All right. Worldwide gross of 18.8 million on a budget of 7.5. Opening weekend, it did 2 million. Opened in 350 theaters and 850 max theaters. Had a 5-week average run.
Okay.
So not a long run compared to some of the others we've had.
This would have
at
been
8, 9
this would have
weeks.
been a VHS darling.
Yeah.
Found its audience there, rental market.
But 88 movies. Look, it although nominated for a few awards, it couldn't quite get there. It didn't get over the top of Rain Man, unfortunately.
Oh God.
Rain Man got 4 awards, including Best Picture. Who Framed Roger Rabbit got another 4 awards, but obviously Best Picture, Best Director for Barry Levinson in Rain Man. Best Actor was Dustin Hoffman. Best Actress was Jodie Foster in The Accused.
Oh, that's a brutal film.
Yeah. But that year, Rain Man was the movie. $413 million worldwide box office. Who Framed Roger Rabbit set in 2. Coming to America, number 3, $288 million.
Yeah, what a great movie coming to America. Coming to America, Shithouse.
Yeah, Die Hard on that movie in there as well. Twins.
Good. It's a good year, 88.
Yeah, good. There's a lot of good movies. But Above the Law came in at number 57 in the money.
Okay.
So not bad for a guy who was making his acting debut.
Mm.
And his first 6 movies, he was the star. Like, he was not a co-star. Mate, he had a big run.
This is a shit. Don't get me wrong. This is not a good movie.
No. But box office draw-wise.
But I'm actually really interested. It's piqued my interest to go back and just to confirm if the rest are really bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, Under Siege is a good film. I don't think we can bag Under Siege. I think that's a pretty good. It's got Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
It's got Gary Busey. It's got Erica Eleniak and her 2 friends. It's a good film. And I think that it's going to be hard to sort of bag that one. But I think Out for Justice is the sneaky one. I think that's the one that I think I might enjoy the most.
I was watching that a while ago. Like, it just happened to be on. I flicked it on and
that's
and
the pool ball one.
Yeah. And it's just a similar movie, but it's not a bad movie.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a bit more action in that one than this one.
All right. Okay. 1988 hit sleeper dud. G-Man, you've got the hit.
Look, I went straight to the top on this one.
Oh.
Rain Man.
Wow. Okay.
Cracker of a movie.
Charlie Babbitt.
Yeah, Charlie Babbitt and Ray Babbitt. Just a fantastic movie. It's so well acted and great storyline. It's it deserved every award it got.
When's the last time you saw it? When's the last time you watched it?
Maybe a year ago. It was on, and I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yep.
I got it about 15 minutes in.
Yep.
And then watched 3/4 of it.
I can't remember the last
I couldn't
time
tell you
I
apart
watched
from
Rain
that.
Man.
No.
I reckon it's got to be 20 years
Yep.
since I've seen Rain Man.
100%.
But
And that's the only reason, because I was watching. I was like, "Geez, this is a good movie."
yeah, no,
I've
it is
forgotten how good it was.
Tom Cruise is great.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman's great. Dan, you have the sleeper. Looking forward to what your 4.6 on IMDb is going to serve up.
Sorry, I was looking up Iko lyrics about Rain Man. My grandma and your grandma
sitting by the fire.
My grandma
your
told your grandma, I'm going to set your flag on fire. Talk about hey now,
Hey now, hey now.
Iko ade.
Oh, that song.
Look at my king of death in red. Iko ade. I bet you $5 he'll kill you dead. Yokamofinane. Talk about hey now.
Hey now.
Fuck, you guys are shit as hey now. Anyway, sorry, that's what I was laughing at. What am I? I'm the sleeper.
You're a sleeper.
I had a little mention before about a song that I also felt fondly of when we were 14 and went back and I haven't seen it recently, but seeing the IMDb score, it would seem that no one agrees with me that it is remembered fondly. But it is it's probably not what you think, but it's a film starring Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall as the titular title character, American high school quarterback star Johnny B. Good. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Good
reckon
movie.
we hired that quite a few times. Thought it was a good movie, gee. Robert Downey's still on the piss. So getting up to all sorts of mischief at the time. Yeah, good Downey before he went to jail. Anthony Michael Hall, where they tried to make him a star off the back of his teen movies, he's now older teen, but where he was obviously in The Breakfast Club and Weird Science and all of the old Anthony Michael Hall flicks. But yeah, Johnny be good. Don't know if anyone, if you've seen it recently, let me know if I'm tripping major balls or if that was actually worthy of a sleeper title.
Mate, Morgs, that Johnny Be Good came in at number 60 for the year at 17.5 million, just below Above the Law.
Wow.
So it made a fair bit of dough.
Lofty.
Made reasonable freight. I think Whitey, it would also have done well on the VHS, getting our cash at Civic Video. Probably took $2.99 out of Whitey's wallet with me holding the card.
Sure. Thanks, Colleen. That would have been. Thanks, Cole.
Exactly. So yeah, let me know if it's
well done. Yeah, please do. I've not seen it for a long time, probably since we racked up late fees on my mum's account. I've got the dud. This is a sequel to what was a smash hit, Short Circuit 2.
Oh,
Right.
And you know when something is not going to be great when none of the original cast return.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit like Hot Tub Time Machine 2, where the main character John Cusack goes, you know what? I'm out.
I quite like the first one, but it sucked.
Yeah.
I actually watched High Fidelity on the weekend, which I hadn't seen in a long
Okay.
time. Notable for how well John Cusack uses the breaking of the fourth wall, because it can go very hokey, but he spends the whole film talking to us essentially as the audience and does it very well. He's just John Cusack playing John Cusack, which he does in every single role. But yeah, it was worth a watch.
That's another one I've been there for a while.
My wife watched it with me and said, how was Zoe Kravitz in this film if it's 28 years old? And I said, that's her mum, Lisa Bonet.
That's her mum, Lisa Bonet.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, she was a great sort.
Oh,
very good sort.
Wow. Do you reckon Bill put her to sleep?
Yeah.
I saw the origin of Cosby Sweater. Oh, that was in High Fidelity as well. Cosby Sweater. They mentioned he mentions John Cusack wearing a Cosby sweater, and then made even more famous by Adelaide's finest, Hilltop Hoods.
And then made even more famous by Between Two Ferns, when Galifianakis interviews John Hamm and says, "So I believe that John Draper's suit is in the Smithsonian." And Ham goes, "Yes, it is." He goes, "Is it next to Cosby's sweater?" And John Hamm can't breathe. He's crying with laughter.
Yeah, brutal. You know, our main player here, Steven Seagal's had a number of sexual misconducts put against him over the years, which he's denied a lot. Some quite famous actors have come out. Come out and accused him of stuff.
Well, it must have been not on any of his movies if they were quite big actresses and good actresses. Because anyway, question time. This was hard. Is this the worst hair movie we've covered on Born to Watch? There is some terrible hair. The barman is horrendous. Yeah. The guy that's sleeping with the niece who looks 25 and is like 16, terrible. There's some bad hair.
The guy that gets blown up in the church has that big boof.
Yep.
Like the blower, like he's just put that shampoo and conditioner through it and it's just sitting up there.
Yeah.
Not for long though.
There's bad hair because Nico's hair's not good.
I had it in my good. He's got a nice slick back, half long.
Yeah, I disagree. I reckon Nico's the only one pulling off a reasonable do in the film. Everyone else,
I'm going to call that a mini mullet.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
You got a mini mullet.
Okay, all right. So it would seem that Nico has some kind of rep in Chicago, being the cop that sort of cleans house. Why do the guys in the bar pick him so quickly? And they actually instigate the fight. He gets a bit lippy, Nico.
I assume they knew him because he'd been in there. Because
but they're not going to beat him.
Yeah,
like if it's a bit like saying, okay, so when we're at school, there was always like a kid that could fight. Let's say Jamie Van Buren, right? You're not going to pick Jamie Van Buren because you know he can sort of throw a few punches.
Yeah.
Why do you pick on Nico?
I don't know. Maybe they thought there's enough of them. They could do it.
And then the barman's involved in the conspiracy at the end.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
continuity issues.
Look, I've already answered the question, but I'll ask the question: how often do the police and the mob attend the same events? And it only takes a Steven Seagal movie to answer it.
Look, that was a really interesting part of his character, which wasn't explored at all. I missed it completely until the trailer tonight. I understood that the mob was there and his cop mates were there, but I had no idea why until they called it out in the trailer. So it's probably something that the scriptwriter could have explored a bit more than
it was
than he
him.
did.
He wrote the script with
True.
Andrew Davis.
Andrew Davis got booted from one of the movies, and then wrote this. He was fired in the pre-production of The Running Man, and then he went on and started doing this. So, and then Steven Seagal wrote it with him.
Yeah.
And then Steven Seagal, I think, was like, "This is my autobiography."
All Seagal. All Seagal.
That's
an autobiography. All Seagal. Not like me, all balls, but it's all Seagal. At the start of the movie, we have the 3 different openings. We have I'm a Aikido legend, I'm in the CIA, and then the trail into the cop part. When he stops the bad guy from torturing the guy,
and
there's the two of them. There's Chelsea Ross and there's Seagal, and I'll look after him, and Seagal's Nico's going off. Why don't they just kill him? Yeah. Why don't the CIA guys just kill him? They're supposed to be this big bad 5. If someone does that, we'll just let him go.
I thought that too. I thought, even if they don't kill me, you think they get back and go, this guy's not on the team. He's not lasting.
We've got to find him. We've got to hunt him down.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
Yeah, it was.
So it's not, this movie's 1988, and I guess it's set in 1988 as well. It doesn't say that it's of any other time.
No, it's 1988. They say that.
Okay. So it's set
when it first goes back, it says 1988 Chicago.
Okay. When they're in the meatpacking district and they're doing the undercover surveillance, the earpieces sort of give them away. They are the world's. Do the earpieces give them away? Is the question,
mate? How could it not? They've got these massive white things hanging out their ears, and there's 10 of them standing around, and they don't look like meat workers.
They're all talking to themselves. Yeah. He's got his leather jacket under his white.
I know it was
covers.
So bad. It was. I was looking at it going, oh, come on. Like, anybody's going to turn up and go, why are all these people got wires in their ears? That was horrible.
Incredible. I was trying to work in a hindsight's 2020, but this movie, there's nothing I can do. There is nothing better in hindsight with this movie.
No.
So we'll move on. Born to Watch Only fans. We've got a few.
Oh, here we go.
Look out!
We've got a few.
Look out.
So I got a message on the messengers from a good fan, Molesy, an ex-roommate of another fan, Beaker from the Muppets. Hey mate, just listen to the Basic Instinct pod. Absolutely pissed myself. Hilarious. Keep up the good work. Loving them all. Thanks, Molesy.
Good on you, Molesy.
We love it. We love the lick outs. So let's keep them coming, people. Dan's already over it. He's already over that lick out already. But we love hearing them.
I wasn't in that episode. It would have been shit.
We do some pretty good stuff when you're not around, Dan. We've gotten used to being without you. Now it's not often that, and it does generally start. We've had a few just randoms off the airwaves reach out. You know, we've had Matty Beer Geek and a few others just reach out just because they've started to follow us, and we appreciate that. But this one, not often does a female reach out, and she reached out from Canada. Now,
I think I rooted her.
Now, he may have, but I don't think so.
I think you would have.
Pevaskavich is the username on Instagram, and I put up. It's responding to my "She's Like the Wind" reel masterpiece that I put up on Instagram on the stories, just because it's one of the greatest of all time. She responded, "This was the first episode of yours that I listened to and then became a fan. I've enjoyed every one, but this will forever be my favorite. I've listened to it twice."
Nice. Wait,
Well,
I
let's
wasn't,
do it.
I wasn't in that one either.
See, there's a trend. There's a trend, and the trend is about to continue. So, Matty Beer Geek reached out this week. He's been a bit radio silence because we've been planning to get him back on the show.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just touched base, said, how you going? He said he's not been well, but he said
That's no good.
He's been busy at work, but he's not been well. But he said the plus side is he's been able to watch a bunch of films as I'm laid up. Avatar: Way of Water is amazeballs. Okay. Dan I won't let Dan cut in on that one. Don't know why I waited so long to catch it. Cried to Field of Dreams. In brackets, I was sick. Mate, don't be ashamed, Matty. It's with the name. Shedding a tear in Field of Dreams. There's nothing wrong with that. One of the great.
Look.
And another episode that didn't involve Dan.
Awesome.
That's it. Please reach out. What we'd love
That's
to
good
get.
feedback.
That's good feedback. We'd love that. What we'd love to get you to head to the Born to Watch website, borntowatch.com.au. Bottom right of the screen, click on the microphone and leave us some voicemails. We'd love to play them on the show. That'd be awesome.
And to the ladies listeners as well, if Gow did root you, we'd love to hear what you're up to these days and find out what's going on. So if you're all over British Columbia and Canada or in the UK or all of the places where 90s Gow did his rooting, we'd really like to hear from you.
Gow's gone beetroot red.
You're such a dick.
The gauge roads, good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, we might rename this after the fact because I think good is a stretch. But we're going to start with Dan up on the land as he eats his poke bowl. What have you got for good?
So you actually foreshadowed my change to this particular segment. I've changed it in my note sheet to the bad, the ugly, and the pathetic.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm going to start with my bad. And Sharon Stone, one of the best-looking humans on the planet, especially around 1988, somehow the costume designer and makeup artist and Steven Seagal managed to make her look mumsy and not at all as hot as Sharon Stone is. Absolutely, undeniably poor work, Steven Seagal.
Wasted.
Yeah, it's only like 2 years from now.
She's
from
Total
then,
Recall.
She's
Stunning.
awesome. And they gave her about 3 lines in the movie.
And
nothing to say.
I tell you what, she comes later for me in this, but yeah, she was not good in this movie.
No, well, she didn't get much of an opportunity.
No,
though.
look, the script is not great.
She had to do a lot of acting with like she just had to stand there and cry or look scared. Like didn't get a lot of lines.
Yep.
Apparently Pam Grier got all the good lines.
She got to act. I don't know what, but she got to act. G-Man, have you got anything for the lesser of the bad categories?
I do, and I racked my brain for a little bit to think about some things. So here's something I came up with for the not so bad. It was only 98 minutes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
it could have been less actually.
Yeah. It was good in its day.
Yep.
He's got a great mini mullet.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay, I've got a couple. I actually, so as pathetic as the quad start was, I actually really enjoyed the baby photos that were legitimately his photos. I thought that was really cool. Like that's not used enough in cinema even today. That it's usually it's generally not the person's photos, but they were his photos. Now, is it an egotistical move? 100%.
Yeah.
It's just more ways to get him in and for people to go, oh, he was a cute kid. But I genuinely was invested in the photos. I really enjoyed that. You got to love a movie where they break bones. There's something about that. And it's why when 2 decades later Taken comes out, that everyone falls in love with Taken.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's something about...
It's the graphic violence.
There's something about hyper-violence on screen.
Yeah.
Right? And there's something about it that is undeniably attractive to the male psyche.
Look, I will give something, and this is a Steven Seagal trait, is the open arm clothesline, and then the people flip.
Yeah.
Like he makes them flip. Like every time, like he hits them and they do a massive flip.
He's good.
Yeah, and so that the way
Yeah.
he's done that, like the choreography of it, obviously looks really good on screen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, he's not a bad actor. Like his performance isn't bad compared to some.
Let's leave that there, G-Man.
Okay.
Love, I've got here, love Broken Bones and the power coat hanger.
Yeah.
I've got that as a quote. And also, he doesn't mind shooting a guy at point blank.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I respect that in a man. I love a good church setting where nefarious actions are going on in the church, because it's such a juxtaposition, right? And so I love a good. I just love a good church setting.
Why don't you just settle down, Morgs? Go fucking swallow a dictionary today, did you?
You like that? You like it? So it was nefarious juxtaposition. Yeah, I'm just trying to lift my game now that Dan's on.
You got word of the day shitter paper in there at the new Amberwatty.
Mate, I tell you what, I'll be going through a few words. Nico, we've got to give credit where credit's due. Nico's quadlingual, right? English, Italian, Japanese, and Spanish, and just rocks them out.
Good call.
You got to give credit where it's due.
He's actually told people in real life that he's quadlingual.
I'm sure he has.
He has. Yeah.
I'm sure he has. I laughed. The controlled hit and run where he gets hit, rolls over, and manages to grab onto the roof.
That's in my bad.
Yeah, no, but it's like I got props to the stuntman. I've got to give anyone that gets hit by a car. You got to give some credit to
hit
that.
by the car, breaks the windscreen.
Yep.
Right. So he's hit that hard, but then manages to roll onto the roof
slowly
and then grab it. Manages to dodge the bullets they shoot through the roof, and then manages to choke a guy with one hand.
A fake hand.
No, but with one hand, while the guy's got two hands, so he's got no leverage. He's on the roof, and he's choking him out with one hand. I was like, is there nothing he can't do?
He's a superstar. And yeah, I've got in here, my memory of this movie is way better than the movie.
So we were pretty close.
Yeah. I've also, now, even though the final kill only goes for 4 seconds, the snapping of the neck, the way he does it is full on.
Yeah, it's good full on until you see the stuffed toy that he's doing it on.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I looked at it going, oh my God.
All right. That's, I managed to pluck a few out there that are reasonable. Let's go to the next one, which we'll call the worst or the real bad before we get to the ugly / pathetic. We'll start with you, G.
Okay. I got a few. Bear with me. It's hard to see Chelsea Ross as a CIA mercenary.
Oh, it's impossible to.
It was hard. When he's there with his scarf on around the neck, I was like, oh, you just don't fit the part.
They got team scarves.
Yeah, it just... and the acting in that whole opening scene, I was watching going,
it's beyond bad.
Oh, this is not great precursor to this movie.
So the big bad Morgs, he's in a couple of the Ozploitation movies. The guy who's the big bad. He's in Once Upon a Time in whatever the movie is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever it is.
Yeah, in America.
Yeah.
No, the one that Quentin Tarantino doco. What's the one we love?
Not quite Hollywood.
Not quite Hollywood. There we go. Yeah. So anyway, he's dreadful.
Look, you've hit a lot of these things. Could they be any more conspicuous at the meatworks with white cords hanging out their ears? How do you get hit by a car hard enough to break the windscreen and then hang on, and choke a guy with one hand while there's two? And then I put in capitals, why didn't you hit the brakes?
Yeah, mate.
He's on the roof. They're driving. They try to shoot it. Why didn't he just hit the brakes and he goes
fly right by?
Fly right by.
Fly right by.
Instead, his mate goes, stop the car, so he pulls it over like he's parking. Just puts the blinker on. And...
pull it over and we'll just get arrested. Let's get arrested instead.
I had in bad too. We've already covered this as well. Don't wear a singlet if you have spaghetti arms,
mate. I've made the mistake once of wearing a singlet to a cricket game and paid dearly with it. Dearly with it.
God.
Not only the ridicule, but the burning because of my milky white spaghettis.
That's bad.
You're a big minglet guy, though, Gow. I've been on many a holiday where you rock the minglet.
Yeah, summer minglet, you get it out when you're on holidays, or when you don't know that you have an impromptu movie session coming up.
Do you think that the jeans singlet ensemble is a good look for a copper?
Yeah, no, I'm not running it.
Does that mean, is that like him saying, I'm suspended. There's no rules.
Yeah, that's him. Like I'm getting the body out. Look, I've probably been known to wear a singlet with some jorts. Back when jorts were a thing.
You broke a lot of fashion faux pas, Gow. You broke a lot of them. We all did. We saw a photo of Morgs breaking a few this morning as well.
Oh, I've got a cracker of a one to show you. I've got a cracker of a photo from the 1980s to show you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Dan, what do you got in the next category?
Before I unleash, Gow made a good point before, and we kind of ridiculed him, but he said that Steven Seagal's not a bad actor in this. Gow, I agree with you. I think that every time the camera points at Steven Seagal, he does everything fine. He delivers his lines well. I think as an action hero in this movie, he commands the screen. He's definitely got a presence. There's a charisma about him.
Yeah, there is a bit.
He's let down. The actor Steven Seagal is let down by the writer-producer Steven Seagal, who's a cunt and absolutely serves up absolutely unintelligible fucking gibberish that I honestly could not follow. It was just ridiculous. So yeah, Steven Seagal should have had a word with Steven Seagal and just asked for a better script, or at least one that made any sense whatsoever. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that was the good bit.
It's his script.
Yeah,
he wrote it. It's like it comes like Andrew Davis got punted as well. You can sort of see why.
But
God. Okay, Dan, I think
just one more. I've got that much that I could go on with, but it's kind of just rolling out as we do the pod, so it's fine. But one thing I was struck with, and I've mentioned it previously, what about how butt ugly American cars are from the 1980s? Yes. They are horrific. Like, I
big
don't know
hefty
if
things.
There was subsidies to Detroit, where all of the American cars were manufactured to keep the industry buoyant, so that people actually bought American. There was not one vehicle that I thought, oh my God, I wouldn't mind one of those. Like, they are fugly. It was quite incredible just to be reminded what a time capsule of poor design American vehicles were back then.
Yeah, the Detroit motor industry really churning out piles of shit.
Yeah,
in the 80s, there's no doubt. Look, Dan and I, we've spoken to this already prior to the pod, but the script, all over the place. It's one of the worst scripts to sit through. The niece, the immigrants, the C4, the dodgy CIA, the drugs, and then I even forgot, even after watching it, that there was an assassination plot.
Yeah.
So there are 6 different sort of plot lines that are going through this movie. Why the niece is in the movie at all is beyond me.
Well,
it introduces you to one of the bad guys.
But he's the bad guy that tells you that there's a drug bust going down, then it turns out to be the C4. So that's the tenuous link.
Oh God.
But yeah.
So bad. The barman. He could be one of the ugliest guys we've covered on Born to Watch. He's bad. He's ugly.
So he's the barman, and then at the end, he's one of the 5 greatest assassins that the CIA has on their books, and he's an absolute midget muppet. I don't understand the casting of the secondary characters and the villains, and also all of the extras was just completely woeful. I want to know what they spent their $7 million on.
Yeah. Well, what they don't spend their $7 million on is the explosion in the church, which looks like it's like a firework, and it was 70 people die.
And the fake body.
Practical effects. There wasn't much work on the Apple IIe in the CGI stakes, that's for sure.
Mate, I don't get why the lady that places the bomb has to walk down to the front of the church in front of everyone and leaves the bag. Why wouldn't you just, because the father walks around the side. Why wouldn't you just leave the bag around the side and let it blow up?
Yeah.
Instead, she puts it in front of everyone where someone can see it. Like, anyway, it doesn't make sense.
So dumb. There's a really, 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 really bad scene after the explosion of Nico and Sharon Stone in the bed together. And she's saying how scared she is and how he's saying, I'm going to protect you. It is so poorly acted by both of them. And it's the writing. There's no doubt. But Sharon Stone is so poorly used in this film.
Oh, completely underutilized.
It is like it's wasted meat. Like it
Yeah,
is, she is so bad.
They just put in a trophy wife, really. Going,
But-
you have a
but-
trophy good-looking
But
blonde wife.
but
That's
she
it.
doesn't even look good. Like
Yeah.
it's only because you know what she's going to become that you would go, oh, that's Sharon Stone.
Do you reckon that Seagal just underplayed everyone so that he'd stand out more?
I-
Because in this movie, like we were
quite
saying before,
possibly.
that
It's a fair
there's
point.
there's no one else who actually has enough lines or makes enough of an impact. Like there's the bad guys you only see at the beginning and the end, really, and they're in and out of the movie. It centers around him, and there's no other specific character that's in a lot of
Yeah.
the movie. Like the partner is at the start, and then you don't see her for a while.
sure.
Then he tells her to stay in the car.
Yep.
You don't see her much, right?
Yeah.
So it's very
it's a
very
fair
odd.
point.
It's all based around him.
So him having center stage.
Yes.
100%. All right, I've got a bit more. Again, we don't believe the decorated cop. So this guy's supposed to be super cop. And the minute someone then says, well, no, it's not right what you're thinking. Oh, well, you're suspended and we don't believe you.
Yeah.
We believe these guys instead. That annoys me. It happens so much in movies where you don't believe, usually you don't believe the kid, right? The kid comes with the truth and you ignore the kid. But it's now becoming that you don't believe the guy that's got all the runs on the board.
Yeah.
They
But he's
get
a bad
turned
cop,
on.
but they didn't like because he's out there.
He's out for justice.
What was the plot line where the CIA suspected that Nico was dirty? Was that because of his must have been his mob alignment, but
Affiliation.
it wasn't explained. Affiliation, yeah. But it wasn't. If they took a scene to explain that a bit better, okay, I would understand it. But the CIA just hate him off the bat and think that he's dirty.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
I'll tell you what though, Nico is like when people come knocking on your door in the middle of the night and you're a cop and there's people after you, there's two things you do when your wife wakes up. One is you get your gun, like you wake up, and two is you slick your hair back. Because when he gets to the door, his do is perfectly slicked back.
Excellent.
I think that's just it. It's the natural oils.
You reckon he goes to bed
It's
like
the
that?
natural oils. He goes to find his friend, the Japanese woman, at the NEC desk in the whatever that is.
The exhibition. It's like
The exhibition.
Like
It's a trade show. It's a trade show.
TVs.
Gets the NEC girl to hack the CIA in about 9 seconds.
And she says, I've got a guy that's in wherever. He's got a bigger database than Langley.
Yeah.
Than the CIA.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck it, Duck. Now, you make a good point. When the police come to his house, there is, and Sharon Stone's in the bedroom and she's sort of, don't you do this, don't you? The baby is crying at the time and it is so obvious a track. It is so obvious that she's holding a doll and the baby's crying is so quintessential baby cry. It's like it's just on loop. I'm just like, fuck it, Duck.
The police association has lawyers for this.
And finally, before we get to pathetic, the police bikes at the end, right, with the big back ends.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
They're going to sell ice creams out of them. I was waiting for the music to start. Dun, 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 dun. And he's going to go, you want a choc top? You want a flake with that? The bikes are horrendous.
Yeah. Horrendous.
Like if they get it, like they're not chips. They're not ponch.
No.
Like they are the worst I've ever seen. Anyway, I could go on forever. Pathetic or ugly. Daniel, what do you got?
We spoke about it off the line, but when the 5 assassins come with the automatic weapons to shoot him when he's in the car and he manages to evade dying from being shelled by hundreds of bullets by using the door skin to cover him, even though the bullets are going through the door. When he gets out and he disarms all 5 of them, he disarms with his pistola, and they all decide that, he's got us now. We've got 5 automatic weapons. He's got 1 pistola, but he's got us. And then one of the guys backchats him, gives him a bit of lip, like, we can fucking take you. And he shoots him dead through the heart. So
Murder.
Moral compass of Nico is not exactly what we're used to with our protagonists. And that was just fucking murder.
Well, I had that was my next thing to say. I had that. How did they shoot that car? He gets out the other side, then he runs away from the car and they don't see him. Yeah. And then they stop shooting and there's 5 of them with high-powered machine guns and he goes, Everyone stop.
You're
I'll
under
shoot
arrest.
him.
You're
So
under
they all
arrest.
put their guns down. 5 of them put their
Yeah.
guns down because he goes, I'll shoot you, mate, if you don't.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand that. Like, if they're
Wow.
just shooting to kill in the street, why don't they just turn the guns on him?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. G-Man.
Well, I had that. I had the ugly, and I don't know whether to bring it up now or bring it up in the. I might bring it up in the 5 questions.
Okay, do that.
I'll do that. I'll leave that because it's ugly.
Okay.
In general, the fake body falling off the back of the car when he rams it through the
Unbelievably terrible.
like you can tell it's a bag of
Unbelievably
bag of
terrible.
sand.
Yeah.
It's
It's not even a mannequin. It's not even
No,
like a
no.
dummy. It's like it's a scarecrow.
like a child's toy.
Yeah.
It's like a plushie. The other one, in general, the ugly I have is Steven Seagal's tales and about his life. Like, and in general, it's hard not to look back now knowing that he actually art imitates his life.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff he truly, I think, believes is real. Like, there's been so many stories over the years where, he got choked out on set by Judo Jean LaBelle, who is a well-known grappler. Like once upon a time in Hollywood, that the scene with Cliff and Bruce Lee.
Yep.
That's loosely supposed to be based on Jean LaBelle because he was a grappling guy, he was a judo guy, and he worked on a lot of sets as a stuntman and things like that. And there's a story that's gone around for a lot of years that Seagal and him, he said, I can get out of any choke you put me in, and Jean LaBelle put him in a choke and choked him out. And like just sat on the ground, he's like, I can get out of it. And that story gets modified to he punched him out. He said to anyone, I can take you. And Jean LaBelle's like, listen, mate, I'm 58 years old. I'll still take you down. Like, so that's well-known folklore. There's another one where he told a UFC champion, Anderson Silva, who was the best fighter of 10, 15 years ago, undefeated, had a championship run, won like 12 in a row, and front kicked Randy Couture in the head, knocked him out. And guess who took credit for giving him that kick?
Oh, Seagal.
Seagal, because he talked to Seagal before the fight. Seagal, the fight goes, yeah, I told him to do that kick. Like this is a world famous, the best martial artist in the world.
It's interesting because Joe Rogan spends a lot of time talking about Seagal and about his fake martial arts and about the whole bullshit.
There's no doubt he's a martial artist and he's quite a high level, but
there's a really good episode on the Rogan podcast, which you can also find on Spotify, probably just a few levels below Born to Watch. But he talks about, they got a lot of stories about Seagal.
Oh, there's millions of them.
If you look up Rogan, Steven Seagal, you'll piss yourself laughing. Yeah,
there's heaps of them.
Yeah.
But to me, watching it now, knowing what this guy's like in real life and obviously what he was like, it just sort of beggars belief. Like it's just art into, art imitates life.
Okay. I've just got one. I got one thing, which is many things. I've got Nico in general. His arms, his singlet, his run, he mumbles. Everything is a mumble. I think he's ugly. Nico. And I'm ending it there.
Good.
Dan's quick fire. Take it away.
Yes, before we get into quick fire, I just noticed another verse. So, see that guy all dressed in green. Aiko ande. He not a man, he a loving machine. Yokamon finane. Talking about hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Aiko ande.
Oh.
Yokimon fino danade. Yokimon finane. Jeez, we got to work on that. Okay. What's that? Oh, good night, buddy. All right, Schnicko, quick fire. Let's get through it. First up, I don't know where this one's going to go, but the lookalike of the film doesn't necessarily have to look like me, but I will accept it today. So, we're both running the beanies. All right, piss off. Can you take that up for me, please, my sweet?
That's not going to happen.
All right.
That is
not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. All right, time for quick fire. Gentlemen, first up, we love it. It's lookalike. Doesn't have to look like me, but can be, if you like, anyone in this film that you thought, I'm going to start. I thought that Seagal's general longness, big torso, and kind of unco-ness was a dead ringer for myself. So I'm going to take that
And his
on.
spaghetti arms. Don't forget
Oh,
the
the
spaghetti
arms, the arms for
Yeah.
sure.
And the noodles, yeah. Look, there was a lot to see in myself with 1988 Seagal. Anyone else that took your fancy?
Yeah, Chelsea Ross is a Morgs.
Oh, it's got a lot
Yeah.
of noise about him.
A bit of pasty,
Jabu.
bit of dork. Yeah, fuck you, Jabu.
And if we could find John C. Riley, we'd probably say he was a bit Morgs too.
Yeah. I accept all three. Well done. Next up, 5-minute movie. What could one of the characters have done to make this a really fast movie? I think Gao touched on it earlier. Why didn't the CIA just kill him when he was being a fuckwit at the start, when he intervened when they were doing the interrogation? You're in the CIA, mate. You would have seen interrogations. It's not meant to be pretty. They should have just killed him.
Mate, that was Black Ops. Anyone in Black Ops would have just gone, boom.
Yeah.
See you later.
Check you outside.
Boom.
Excellent. No, Nico. He's not above the law. He's below the land, below the dirt. There we go.
Below average.
Where he deserves to be.
Nico below the average.
Next up, that's not an eye for a scene that may have passed into popular culture. Gee, I don't know. I mean, the three of us, have regurgitated many lines from many movies over many years. I don't know that I come back to any Nico above the law.
This is a hard no.
It's a hard no.
Yeah.
The only thing I think of is the clothesline where he gets them to knock over.
That's a
trademark. I guess it's more of a trademark of him.
That's a Seagal trademark. It's not pop culture.
It's not pop culture. No, you're right. You're right.
Doesn't apply.
Yeah, totally agree. Next up, Burt Young in the Rockies for the biggest douchebag character. And before we go on, I'd just like to say I think I've received the most abuse of any type for my disregard for most of the Rocky films as an almost 50-year-old male. So it is true. They don't float my boat like they used to. There's still a few in there that I actually enjoy, but I've copped a lot of grief both on and off the line for my disparaging comments about the Rockies. And I'm going to say,
Morgs, I'm going to say it's might just not Rocky. I think it's Sliced Alone. I mean, you dished him up in First Blood. You've dished him up in Rocky.
Yeah. But in Copland, really enjoy him. I like the performance in the recent TV series he's just done where he's part of the mob.
Tulsa King.
He's great.
Yeah.
Tulsa King, really enjoyed. So no, I don't have a problem per se with Stallone. I just think that the Rockies don't float my boat like they used to. So fuck off. But Burt Young is a character, he's an actor that features in those films. He's a big douchebag. Who do we think was the biggest douchebag in Schnico Above the Law?
The barman.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the barman. He's the most lippy one in the bar.
Also, the drug dealing boyfriend.
The Quaftu.
Yeah, the guy that gets belted against the wall.
Yeah.
He's not a great. That's not a great.
I think it's
character.
The barman. I think it's the barman.
Yeah, I'll accept them both, but I'm going to go with Whitey on that one. Good stuff. Next up, the answer is no. We do not need to see anything more about this film, a la Robot Sentries. Last but not least, second last but not least, is I'm actually going to change this category moving forward. It was Ripley running for our beloved Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, and her particularly poor athletic prowess. It's where her running is an absolute abomination. I'm going to say that Steven Seagal has got her covered with his running in this. He is crazy legs. His torso doesn't know what's going on, and it doesn't look like it's connected to the lower half of him. He can't run for shit.
His arms.
When he runs, but he runs not with his hands side on. He runs with them flopping like he's wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And honestly, he looks like someone's like trying to look like they can't run when you go, look, do a stupid run.
He's doing it's the best acting he's done. If that's what he's trying to do, that is the best acting he's done.
I'll also tell you, I'll give you that. That's the worst. But not far behind it is his walk. When he does the strut walk, like someone's punched him in both shoulders and he can't move his arms. And he just does this flop arm like he's Conor McGregor. Does this.
Well,
it's really bad.
Do you think he's like, my hands are weapons, so I've just got to keep him by my side. It's going to strut.
When that guy runs away from him when they're having the fight outside and he starts running, I looked at him and went, oh my God, I had to rewind it.
It's incredible running.
It's terrible. I tell it, everybody go back and have a look at when he first runs. It's horrible.
Awful.
Anyway, congratulations, Steven Seagal. You now are a category of your own in Quickfire. Well done.
Well,
We don't
well
need to
deserved.
talk about anyone else.
Segalism.
Well deserved. Finally, Whitey's Brad Pitt for the actor you'd most like to be married to, a Sharon Stone character in a film, Nico Above the Law. I mean, as I said, disappointing. I think the use of one of the most beautiful actresses of the 80s and 90s was pathetic. Pam Grier, for me, very, very beautiful lady. You know, I'm a bit of an Angela Bassett guy, as you know, so it's definitely of interest. Anyone else for you guys in the film? There really was just those two and the niece, I think.
I'm gonna preface this by saying that the niece, although she plays a 16-year-old, has to be mid to late 20s.
Yeah, she does. When she says she's at school, she goes on.
Fuck her, don't.
I was like, what?
She's 25.
Yeah,
she's pretty. She's pretty.
Yeah. Look, there's not much to
There's no one else.
but I'll accept it all. Yeah. Good. Gentlemen, that was quick fire. Thank you kindly.
Well done, Daniel. Well done. That was a difficult one to get through.
What are you doing?
Now we'll move. This should be interesting, and from now on, we should just essentially fly through this. Listen to this, G-Man. What have you got?
We already talked. I only got two. Andrew Davis wrote and directed this film after being fired during pre-production of The Running Man. The other one was that Chuck Norris was offered the lead role of this, obviously before Seagal came on board and changed the script.
Yeah.
Now, originally the script was them in LA or something like that. And then once Seagal came on board, he changed it to Chicago. But Canon Films wouldn't let Chuck out. He was doing Code of Silence at the time.
It's a good movie, Code of Silence. I don't know if you've seen it. It's
good.
He sort of he fights a guy. It's a bit like Michael Myers, the guy.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, he made some crackers, and probably this would be a way better movie if he was on board. But
probably.
I mean, it could have been another Octagon. You never know. Score.
Dan, you got anything?
Nah, I just had a read through, but look, nothing of note. We've touched on the fact that Steven Seagal, hey, you got to give it to him. The guy, have you seen a guy shred on a guitar? He's definitely got some skills. As much as we take the urine out of him, he's a talented cat. And as a screenwriter myself, I know that getting your project up onto the big screen is not all that easy. So I give him props for that as well. But yeah, I don't think we need to explore too much more about the facts of Schneeko Above the Law.
I got one. Seagal taught all the actors in the movie to draw their gun his way. Fast and clean. Fast and clean.
Slow and smooth and smooth as fast.
At which Dan level is it, like between Dan's 4 and 5 that you learned how to draw your gun as an Aikido expert?
It's incredible. The guy's incredible.
He does weapons training for the actual police in that police show where he's the
it's incredible.
Where he's the freelance or volunteer sheriff.
Crazy. I will say he does even a lot of the props, a lot of the swords and things were his own.
Right.
These and some of the guns I think too. Like he was a big gun collector, big sword collector, which you could understand.
That's a good point. Gal, I think that the actual sword fight that they managed to get into the film as well, that was pretty good. I thought that was choreographed.
Yeah, it was good.
But he drops the sword.
Yeah.
He drops the sword. Like, why would you drop a sword? Hold on to the sword, mate, and chop someone's leg off. It's ridiculous. Now, Henry Silva, who's the big bad, broke his nose in the final fight scene. And Seagal was rushed to hospital, but he iced it all night so that he didn't have black eyes for the next day's filming. What a professional. Just committed.
Professional.
Just committed. That's enough. Quotables. Anyone got anything?
Nothing.
0.
Okay, I got one. It was in the trailer. You guys think you're above the law. Well, you ain't above mine. It is so bad.
Thanks, police.
But he delivers it fine. Like it's not hokey. Like he's got some presence about him. He does.
I'll give him that.
Film star. Yeah, totally.
He sucks.
Well, no, he does have some presence. They obviously thought we can sell it, and they did for six or 7 movies. Yeah. He owned it.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of dollars he made. Well, his movies made.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a big star.
Kelly
He was-
LeBrock was the it girl around there too. So
Yeah,
he's,
yeah.
he's pulled the hottest girl of the late 80s.
Oh yeah,
He's done all
85
right.
Weird
He's
Science.
Done, yeah.
He's done well. He's done
Or
well.
the lady, was it the lady in red? The woman in red
Oh,
with Gene.
Lady
with Gene
in
Wilder.
red. Okay. 1 degree of Kurt Russell. I couldn't. Is Sharon Stone's not been in any Kurt Russell movies?
Yeah.
has she?
Executive decision. What are you talking about?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, there you go.
Well, does it count if he's in it for 6 seconds?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
all
in
right.
the movie. That's 1 degree.
That's well done. Okay. Film school for F-wits. Daniel.
Yes. I've been away for a few weeks, F-Wits, so God only knows what these guys have been serving up the dribble in film school. So I'm going to actually step it up a bit this week. And I mentioned that I couldn't get through this film because it was awful, but I managed to find a documentary on the absolutely revered Lost in Translation, which was in French, which did make it a bit more difficult, but they did have subtitles, and I was entranced again by the film and the director, Sofia Coppola, and the actors. So I just wanted to go through 5 major differences and 5 similarities between Lost in Translation and Nico Above the Law. So I'll start up with the 5 major differences. So in genre, Lost in Translation is a romantic comedy drama that focuses on the emotional and psychological experience of its characters, whereas Above the Law is a whack job action thriller that centers on physical confrontations, alleged martial arts, crime fighting, and ridiculously overcomplicated plots and backstories. So very different. Into the themes, Lost in Translation explores themes of loneliness, cultural alienation, and the search for meaningful connections, which existential type stuff. But as humans, it's the human condition that is touched most when we watch that film. But Above the Law deals with themes of justice, corruption, and the fight against organized crime and governmental misconduct. So very, very different there. The setting, Lost in Translation, is set in Tokyo, Japan, and the film uses the city's vibrant yet isolating atmosphere to underscore its themes, whereas Above the Law is primarily set in Chicago, where it uses the urban environment to highlight issues of crime and corruption within what is a familiar American setting to us. The protagonist, Lost in Translation, follows Bob Harris, Bill Murray, an aging actor, and Charlotte, Scarlett Johansson, a young woman, both dealing with personal crises, whereas Above the Law focuses on Nico Toscani, Steven Seagal, a tough cop and former CIA agent using his bullshito skills to take down criminals. In tone and style, Lost in Translation has a contemplative and introspective tone with a focus on character development, subtle interactions, and the inner emotional landscape, whereas Above the Law features a fast-paced yet somehow dragging, action-packed yet not tone with awful fight scenes, terrible explosions, and I think it's a good versus evil narrative, but it's very hard to follow. So, look, those are the differences. But here's 5 similarities that can be found within the 2 films. So, both films highlight cultural differences. Lost in Translation focuses on the cultural contrast between American characters and Japanese society, while Above the Law includes themes of cultural diversity and tension within its urban setting. In Lost in Translation, the main characters, Bob and Charlotte, are Americans navigating life in Tokyo, a foreign city to them. And in Above the Law, Steven Seagal's character, Nico Toscani, though in his home city of Chicago, deals with a world of crime and corruption that feels alien to his moral values. So kind of similar. The strong lead performances, it can't be argued. Both films feature strong performances from their lead actors. Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson deliver nuanced performances in Lost in Translation, while Steven Seagal brings a strong physical presence and unarguable charisma to Above the Law. There's also themes of isolation in both, with Lost in Translation deals with emotional and cultural isolation, with characters feeling disconnected from their surroundings. Similarly, Above the Law depicts Nico as a lone warrior, battling against a corrupt system, often feeling isolated in his fight for justice. And finally, conflict with authority. Both films involve characters dealing with conflicts with authority figures or institutions. In Lost in Translation, the protagonists struggle with personal expectations and societal norms. But in Above the Law, Nico battles against corrupt officials and institutions within law enforcement and government. In conclusion, I think we all agree that Lost in Translation is a masterpiece. And Nico Above the Law is a stealing pile of dog shite. Film school
Oh, well done.
for F-wits.
So, can we say now that there's 2 movies we never have to talk about again?
Now, could we do 5-minute? Could we do 5-minute film school for F-wits? Where we could have just been, how can we make that shorter? We could have just said, Lost in Translation is a masterpiece, and
I think Lost in Translation is better than that steaming pile of dog shit.
That's pretty
Thank
good,
you.
Dan. I was wondering how you're going to draw the
That was
parallels.
very good, Morgs.
but you managed to do it.
The
You didn't mention
similarities was hard, very hard. Similarities was hard.
You got through a lot of themes, Morgs. We didn't talk about how Nico Above the Law is a politically conscientious movie.
No, I
mean,
didn't pick
Carl
up on that
talks about
until you told me. Yeah, it is not something that was evident in my recent viewing. But if Steven Seagal said it, then it must be so.
100%. Well, it's a big night tonight. It's been a whitey fest for Kick-Ass Credit Song, and there's been some bangers. But G-Man is back on stage and coming hot off what was one of your masterpieces last time out. What have you got for Nico Above the Law for Kick-Ass Credit Song?
Well, I've written a song here. It may ramble a little bit, but hey, that just goes with
that's Nico.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
That's how we roll here. This little song is called "The Myth of Sensei Steven Reserve Deputy Chief Seagal," or "It's Not Real Life."
Oh, nice.
I'm probably not going to get through this, but anyway.
Yeah, you will.
Here we go.
Focus.
I'll turn my camera off. Hang on.
Don't turn the camera off.
Okay, here we go. Down in Chicago, he's former CIA. Only does right, knows no other way. Above the law, but not beyond the fight. Nico Toscani thinks he owns the night.
Oh, fucking LG. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, God. Okay.
Good going.
Okay, give me a second. With a look that cuts like a samurai sword. He'll take down the bad guys. He's so hardcore. Thought it was a drug bust, but it was C4. And now the senator is headed for the floor. Can he really fight? Who can tell? Got his ass whooped by Judo Jean LaBelle. Can take anyone who carries a knife. Fuck me, Steve, and this is not real life. Stop it!
Oh, my fucking cheeks hurt. Oh.
Fuck me, Steven. This is not real life.
It's not real life. You're not really. Actually, that guy, 7th Dan black belt, in telling a lie. In his fake world, not many can enter. Wouldn't last 5 at Chroma Community Center. Nico Gino Ryback and Mason Storm, the same character, is what you perform. From age 6, he started Aikido, when really it seems it was the art of bullshido.
Bullshido!
Oh my God.
That was a tough get through.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
Oh God. We're not editing that. That's
No.
you people, you have heard what we heard live. That is unedited. For the first time ever, unedited, you get what we get. Fucking hell, Gow.
Well done,
You
Chief.
were nearly like losing it yourself even before you'd said stuff.
It's because I can hear the laughter.
Oh my God.
It sets me off. Oh, gosh.
Well done. Star of the show, Daniel, who you got?
Oh, you can't go past Steven Seagal. There's glimpses of the action star and box office hero that he would become. It is just unfortunate that every word that comes out of his mouth and the any sort of intelligible plot is not delivered to him by the screenwriter, whose name is also Steven Seagal.
G-Man, star of the show.
It's got to be Steven Seagal. This is a vehicle that is obviously made for him, as we've talked about. But boy, this is right in his wheelhouse, and he does a really good. I think he does a really good job. I mean, he's got great skills. He choreographs these fight scenes really well. He was a massive star in the time, so I'm going to give it to Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I'm with you, and that's all I'm going to say. I've got nothing more to say. The Rank Bank. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Broken bones, awful running styles, messy plots, barroom beatdowns, slick back hairdos, frumpy stones, Aikido masters, oversized undercover earpieces, and bullshitos.
I like bullshitos. I do like floppy hand runs.
Oh, floppy hand runs is pretty good.
Yeah, I'll have floppy hand runs. Good stuff.
Okay, that's it. Fucking hell. Okay, well, we're at that time where we get to vote and cast dispersions all over this one. We're going to start with you, G-Man. How many floppy hand runs are you giving Above the Law?
Oh, I don't think we've made a secret of that. It's not a great rewatch. It's a hard watch. I don't think I'm going to watch this one again. It's been a long time between drinks, but I think I'm done with it. Was big in its day. I'm going to give it 2 floppy hand runs.
Okay, 2. Daniel, how many floppy hand runs for Nico?
Yeah, this was the toughest watch I've had on this this podcast that we do. I couldn't get through it. It took me so many goes to get to the finish line. It's terrible. I'll never watch it again. I'm giving it 0.5 out of 5.
Wow. Jesus. Look, this has only been surpassed in difficulty to watch by 3 other movies, and I've done every single movie on this podcast. Rebel Moon 1.
Oh.
Rebel Moon 2, which I gave 0. And Can't Buy Me Love. I found to be a harder watch than this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated Can't Buy Me Love. I gave it 1.
I'm going to tell you. So this actually got above Rebel Moon 2, which had 0.25 slow-mo grain harvests.
Yeah, is that what I gave it?
No, you gave it a 0.
I gave it a 0. Damo gave it 0.5. Well, I'm giving it 1.75 floppy hand runs. And it's only because I enjoyed it at the time. I will never watch this movie again.
I will say that I loved it in 1988 and 1989, but no.
Yeah, look, 0.5 is a harsh rating, and I'm only thinking that this movie's actually better than Rebel Moon Rebel Moon 2, but fuck it, duck, it's a bad movie, this. Anyway, G-Man, take it away.
Well, you talk about Can't Buy Me Love, which got 1.5 dump rag barrows.
Underneath it.
This got 1.42 floppy hand runs. It is above Rebel Moon at 0.5 as said, but that's it. It's at the bottom of the pile.
It's second last.
Last.
It's to be honest, if we talk about real movies that we have watched, because that's only me and Damo giving that. This is a 3-pronged review, 1.42 floppy hand runs. Second last total.
I can't believe it got it below Can't Buy Me Love. But anyway, that's where it's got to.
Can't Buy Me Love was a tragedy.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I might have given Nico too much now. But anyway, it is what it is. 1.75.
Oh, it's still sitting at the bottom.
Yeah. Where it
But compared to this, Can't Buy Me Love is 12 Angry Men or Silence of the Lambs or something really good. I think...
Lost in Translation? Is as good as Lost in Translation?
Yeah, or Lost in Translation.
Well done, gentlemen. We have gotten through what is no doubt the three of us hardest mission to date. It's what we do for the fans of Born to Watch. It's at that time where we ask all you guys to share the podcast to anyone you can. Like and share it. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. We don't care. Send us a review on Apple or on Spotify, or leave us a voicemail on the website. We'd love to have you on the show with us. We look forward to next week. It's Gow's out.
I'm out.
At the moment, it's Damo and myself, and we're waiting for a special guest to confirm. We are going to a movie that could not be made in 2024. a movie I saw at the cinemas and laughed a lot. American Pie.
Boy, this
Ah,
was
there
a
you
big
go.
movie. Big
Yeah.
movie in its time, wasn't it?
Huge movie. And there's some good and bad to it. There's a couple characters that I'd like to headbutt to death. But it's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's like warm apple pie.
Scooby Dooby Dooby Doo Bop Bop.
Yeah, magic.
You
Boys, it's
before you move on though, you forgot if you like this, what else to watch?
well, okay. We'll finish with that. What else would you like, Daniel? What would you watch if you liked Nico?
Well, if you like this, you're a cunt.
Excellent. We'll leave it there. It's been an absolute pleasure, people. Thanks for joining us. We can't do it without you. Thank you for turning up tonight, Daniel. On time.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I made
Yeah.
it. Or sort of on time,
Yeah.
kind of on time.
Yeah, we've got Daniel, your next movie in the wheelhouse, 2 weeks' time. The Terminator.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
Oh, I'll definitely turn
Yeah.
up for that one.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. That will be a lot of fun. The big man Arnie. It's been a pleasure. G-Man, thank you.
See you, everybody. See you in a
Dan-
couple of weeks.
Dan on the land, well done.
Bye, everybody. Go watch Lost in Translation, not Nico above the law.
Do not watch Lost in Translation. Bye for now.